if I just go across in the order that I see people on my screen, just to say your name and who you're with, in case anybody does not know. So Veronica, would you mind starting off?
Sorry, I'm trying to have multiple screens up so that I can do notes and I can't hit my mute button. I'm Veronica Spidel. I'm with the Adams Board.
Thanks, Veronica. And I'm Nate Camban, Superintendent at the County Board of Disabilities. And now it looks like Mary Ann's next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Hottie. I'm with the City of New Philadelphia.
Great. Good morning, Mary Ann. Now it looks like Jen Flaherty's next on my screen.
Hi, my name's Jennifer Flaherty. I'm the parent rep. I'm also the president of Challenger Baseball, and I'm also the president of the Ruth Carlson Foundation.
Great. Good morning, Jen. All right, next I see Paige Robeson.
Paige Robeson, Service Coordinator for Family and Child First Council.
Good morning, Paige. Next I see Michelle.
Michelle Sayer, Fiscal Manager for the Adams Board.
Awesome. Sue.
Sue Shackelford from Harkett Head Start.
Great. Bob.
Bob Alsept, Superintendent at Buckeye Career Center.
Awesome. Good morning. Natalie.
Natalie Bolin with the Adams Board.
Awesome. And Robin.
Robin Waltz with United Way.
Good morning, Robin. Mandy.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute it. Mandy Prosser from Noah's Hope.
Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning.
Next, I see meeting host. Is that anybody or is that?
That's me, Mike Dotson.
Yeah.
I'm staying silent and unseen.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Brandy.
Brandy Ankrum. I work at Personal and Family Counseling Services.
Good morning, Brandy. Lori Donnelly.
Hi, I'm a parent rep.
Good morning, Lori. And then last I see AL.
That would be Al.
Oh, got it. Good morning, Al.
Tuscarawas County Commissioner. I keep it very simple.
I like it. I like it. Well, good morning, everybody. Are there any guests on the line? Nope. I think that's everybody. So it looks like the first item of business is the approval of the agenda that was included in the packet that Veronica sent out. Oh, it looks like we have somebody joining us. Sylvia is here as well. Good morning, Sylvia. So after you guys take a second to look at the agenda, I can take a motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Sue. Is there any discussion? Nope. All right. All in favor, signify by saying. All in favor? Yep. Just raise your hand or say yay.
Aye.
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 All right. Great.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Motion passes. All right, next it looks like we have the approval of the meeting minutes from February 13th. That seems like a lifetime ago. In pages 2 through 6 of the agenda. If you guys want to take a second and look over those, and then I'll take a motion whenever you guys are ready.
Mary Ann makes that motion.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Do we have a second?
This is Natalie. I'll second.
Thanks, Natalie. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed or any abstentions?
I abstain.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Anybody else? All right. Motion carries. All right. Item number 2, Budget Committee. March 2020, April 2020, and May 2020 list of bills are listed on pages 7 through 9. You guys want to take a look at those? And once you guys are ready to make a motion, we can take motions, and then if Michelle or anybody wants to discuss, we can go from there.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Bob. A second?
I'll make that.
I'll
motion.
second.
This is Lori.
Thank you, Lori. All right, FCFC or Adams Board, are there any items of note?
Other than the fact that there's 3 separate bills, we figured that was probably easier since there were so many months. It'd be easier to look at them separately. There's nothing really too unusual. There are some MSY, a lot of MSY funding on there for the multi-system use. And I mean, those are kind of costly expenses. So, but that money is coming in. So that's just an in and out kind of thing. And we did get some Speedway gas cards through the FCSS funding. Woo, okay, and because they're huge in need right now. We had some left over, but from last year, and they were totally gone. So we decided to go ahead and get another 500. Everything else on there is pretty much the same. It's just the normal stuff, except for maybe pardon me? Oh, I'm delayed. I'm sorry. I can hear myself echo. Yeah, if you have any questions, I can address them.
All right, are there any questions for Michelle? All right, if not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Right? Any opposed? Or any abstentions?
Nate, I don't oppose, but I need to abstain. This is Brandy.
Thanks, Brandy.
Sure.
And I just need to, did we get a motion in a second? I'm sorry. If we did, I missed it.
Yeah, was that Bob and Lori, I believe?
Okay. I apologize.
Nope, that's all right. All right, now I just ask if you guys can mute your computers if you're not speaking. There seems to be some feedback coming through. All right, if there are no further abstentions or nay votes, the motion carries. All right, next item of business, balance sheet statement of revenue and expense as of April 30th, 2020. That's pages 10 and 11. If I can get a motion in a second, then we can discuss. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bob. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Robin. Right. Michelle, anything of note on this?
Yes, on the page 11 under revenues, I just wanted to update you where we are, what the status is with that. We're still showing an outstanding balance of 18,000 for the FCSS federal line item. We do anticipate on spending all of that. So that's not a worry. Pages working hard to make sure it all goes out. Also, the through the Child Advocacy Center, is also Pages duties. That has a balance of $14,271. I am not sure that we're going to be able to draw all that down. I estimated that we probably will have about 5,000 that we can't pull down. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. But I know, okay, under expenses, I just want to bring one thing to everybody's attention. It's the third item, admin charge to grants. The negative 17,964. I know that looks odd to have a negative down there in the admin. What that is that is the amount of FCSS funding that Paige has gone down and has been applied to salaries. So basically, since that was money that came in as a receipt, we just deducted it from the salary and fringe cost to offset that instead of posting it as a receipt twice. I hope that makes sense. But that's all I have. unless there's questions.
Michelle, are we starting to see funds come in from the mandated members across the community?
We haven't been in the office a lot. I probably haven't been in for a couple of days, so I haven't seen the mail recently. But as of, well, let's see, probably last week, I think there may have been one check.
Yeah, I got one out of the mailbox 1 or 2 weeks ago. I still have to get to the mailbox this week.
Michelle, I did have a question about that. Is there any way, not this year, but maybe next year, can you put like, if it's not like financial contribution, but if it was coded something else, I can get reimbursed through that, through my grant. If it was like a membership fee, I don't know if you can put that kind of language in there.
The only problem with the word fee is we're not allowed to charge fees.
Okay.
So that's why it's a contribution. Are you talking about the CAC contract with Paige? Or are you talking specifically about your month or your annual contribution?
The annual contribution.
Okay.
We can talk about it later.
I'll see if we can be creative.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, are there any other questions for Michelle on the statement of revenue and expenditures?
I don't know if it's a question, but we had our community impact meeting Tuesday, and I brought up the $5,000 invoice, and Sylvia was in the meeting as well, and they did just want us to I told them we were having a meeting on Thursday just to see what other organizations are doing as far as the contribution. Because this is for us, I mean, I know probably most charitable organizations in everywhere, not just Tuscarawas County, is going to be somewhat challenging. So we were just curious what you were hearing from other members and membership and about the membership contribution. So maybe not.
So this is Natalie. We haven't necessarily heard much of anything about the membership contributions. I know, we always run up against council is a state mandate. Every county across the state is required to have a council, but the state gives us $15,000 to run it. So really this is just the operating cost and subsidizing Paige's cost. We can talk, sometimes some of the agencies will divide it up across the year. So it's not necessarily the whole amount coming in at once. It's 2,500 here and then 2,500 later, but it's certainly something we could talk about. The whole 21 budget is in such a state of flux right now. We had hoped to have it in front of you at the May meeting, but we're going to have to wait until June to do it. I know that's a long answer to your question, Robin, and I'm not sure that's what you were asking, but
I appreciate it. It's and we, it's just an unusual time. So we just wanted me to bring it up. So
yeah.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Sylvia. We're so antiquated here at the court that we don't have capability. So I'm on my phone as well as on the computer. It's not frustrating at all. Yeah. I had some questions as well. Adam and the judge were both asking about, I think more what our service coordination activity is going to look like this year in order to, I guess, substantiate the $5,000 is what they were asking.
Paige, can you
Please don't let me talk again.
Paige, can you talk a little bit about how you've been providing service coordination with the state's guidance under the quarantine?
Yeah, so so far I've been doing weekly calls to families. Families have been texting me a lot. I've attended IEP meetings virtually. I've attended a court hearing virtually. We've been having grant meetings with DD weekly. So really just a lot of phone calls with families and texting families and supporting them through the FCSS funds. So since we're not really sure that camps are going to be open this year to be able to send kids to camps, I've been working on buying them things for them to do at home with their families. I've bought art supplies, fidget toys, fishing poles, basketball, board games, coloring books. A couple families are interested in bikes so they can go outside, and Fitbits so they can make sure that they're not spending all their time on video games and things like that. So I've really just been talking to families weekly and checking in with them. And when I bought things for them, I went to their house and dropped them off and wore masks and things like that. But I didn't really go inside their houses. But a lot of them have been receptive to doing the virtual phone calls and meetings. So it hasn't really been a problem. I don't know if you have any more questions about that or what I've been doing.
The only other thing that I would add is we do multiple statewide calls a week, and what the behavioral health system is doing, and I'm guessing this isn't a surprise for anybody, but there's a continuous discussion of preparing for the surge in behavioral health whenever the quarantine is lifted. You know, all of the kids that haven't been able to be seen by teachers, and the adults that haven't been able to really leave the house or have steady paychecks. So our behavioral health system is really gearing up for things to flood us. And so when we look at service coordination into the start of 21, I have a feeling Paige is going to be quite busy whenever the kids return to school, and parents, you know, just as this begins to loosen and we're able to see some of these families a little more.
The other thing that Paige continues to do is we continue to accept new referrals. So she's not stagnant in her caseload. I mean, we continue to add new children to the caseload, and she's connecting them to the services that they need in the community. Now that looks different for the children, that they're doing a lot of things telehealth and remotely. But the other piece of it is the multi-system youth money. There's an extensive application process for the children that are eligible for that money. And she's doing those applications with the team. She's turning them all into the state. Every 30 days, she is sending in reports to the state about how that money is being spent. That money is being spent for respite for children as well as for children that need residential. And then every 90 days, if the child continues to need those services, she's resubmitting applications to bring that money into the county so that we can support the youth that need those higher level services. So that does take up a bit of our time also.
Yeah, I was just gonna let, like Veronica is saying, so in total, we've done 6 MSY applications, and out of those 6, 4 have been approved. 1 was approved for just a short-term kind of respite / residential stay, and the other 3 are active ongoing MSY applications, and they have all been continually renewed for continued funding. So I've been updating those, and then the other ones, 1 got approved and we haven't found placement for the child, so I'll have to redo that application. And then the last application that we did, the child was in JFS custody but then ended up returning home. So we've been doing those. And then also the MSY team offers technical assistance, so we've done one of those calls with the state teams, and we have another one that we're going to get ready to do here soon. So that's what MSY has been up to. Anything else on that, Veronica?
I guess I just want them to know that we are not the only county struggling to find placement for our difficult kids. I mean, we're talking between 50 and 100 calls to different facilities trying to find placement for kids. And across the state, it is a real struggle. I know that one of the children that Paige was recently working with, and Paige, if I misspeak about this, but my understanding is she just went into JFS custody, and they're actually having to look at out of state placement because nowhere in the state of Ohio will accept, and this is becoming somewhat more of a norm right now. Unfortunately, the placement facilities can hand pick who they accept, into their programming, and they're not taking these more difficult to place kids. So we continue to support the families with the respite options and what we can do to wrap around services in the community for them.
And two, respite, it's kind of been on hold as well, but they have been willing to work one-on-one with kids. So we have been supporting families with that as well. And they've been doing like 10 hours a week, if not more, with the child. So.
Now I would just say to piggyback on those comments, on a state call last week about multi-system youth, the state in general is seeing an uptake in kids going to residential centers because the needs are becoming more and more extreme as kids are staying at home. So Ohio is really seeing that. And I know in the past week, we've worked with Paige on a few kids who might be going into a more permanent respite situation. And we're starting to see from our own families in DD of they were doing okay for a while, but now things are really starting to get difficult. So we've been relying on FCFC for that assistance as well. Are there any other questions or comments on this item on the agenda?
Have those, I'm not sure where we are, have those reminders or whatever been sent out? Because I could say for us, I'd like to get it soon because what our budget's going to look like 2 months from now may be a whole lot different than it looks today. So I would like to get that if I could. I'm not sure where we are, but if we could get some information related to that.
Are you talking about the membership invoice?
Yes.
I mailed that about a month ago. So if you haven't received it in the mail, I mailed everyone's out mid-April.
Okay.
So if you don't have it, I believe I have everything electronically that I can email it to you, Bob.
That would be great because as you know, what we're going to, and our mail has been a little crazy since that time, but I'd sure like to be able to handle that before we go much further.
All right, well, I'll take a vote now at this time for balance sheet, statement of revenue and expenditure. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I need to abstain. Nate, this is Brandy.
Got it. Thank you, Brandy. All right, motion carries. And welcome Dave Brand on the call this morning. Good morning, Dave.
Sorry I was late, guys.
That's all right. All right, item number 3, FCFC Governing Board Business of the Day, approval of OCBF grant application. Can I get a motion in a second and then we can discuss?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Natalie.
I'll second.
Thank you, Robin. All right, and Veronica, do I turn this one over to you?
Sure. So every year we have to apply for the Operational Capacity Building Funds funding grant. This is the $15,750 that we receive just to support county FCFC efforts. These dollars are state revenue, state general revenue, and can be used for a portion of salary and fringe benefits. So the application is done. Danielle and Michelle worked on the financial piece of it. I finished the remainder, everything's signed. We just have to have it in the minutes that it was approved. And then this will get submitted to the state. And then the funding would become available July 1st.
Are there any questions for Veronica? If not, I'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, if not, the motion carries. Item number 4, agency program parent updates, service coordination update. I imagine we talked about some of this already, Paige, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, the only thing else I want to add is just kind of update you guys on how many cases I have. So I have about 13 or 14 cases right now. 3 of those are pretty much only MSY, so just updating those to the state every month. And the ages are ranging from about 8 to, I have one 18-year-old. Most are between the 10 to 15-year-old marks. The schools that I have right now, I have 3 from New Philly. I have 1 who is homeschooled. I have 3 from Dover, 5 from Claymont, and 1 from Tusky Valley. So just so you guys have that information, but that's pretty much, we covered all the rest that I wanted to talk about. So if anyone has any more questions.
Paige, are there any sort of themes that you're seeing from families at this point in time? Like just going stir crazy, or what are kind of some of the themes you're hearing?
It's kind of been weird. A lot of my families have said they've been doing okay. And I know we talked about that a lot in our grant meetings. The family, they're bored, but they haven't had any major outbursts. I have a couple families who are struggling, but those are the ones who we've connected with the one-on-ones from ALCO. But other than that, families seem to be doing okay. And like I said, I'm just asking them, what kind of things can keep them busy and kind of keep their anxiety down. So we've been working with them to buy those things for them to keep them busy and keep the family interacted. So.
All right, thank you, Paige. Are there any other questions for Paige? All right, if not, it looks like next on the agenda is the PAC NAMI Ohio discussion with Tanya Walters. Is she on the line?
I don't think she is. I will send everything that she shared with me electronically out, so I don't take your time with this.
Mike, I believe that you muted a caller. Do we know if that's her?
I just unmuted the caller. I've tried a couple times to unmute, but seem to be getting a lot of feedback, so I've remuted. But she's unmuted. The caller at 401-7676 is unmuted right now.
Is that
would be me.
Sylvia?
That's Sylvia calling in, yeah.
Hey.
All right, so we established Sylvia is not Tanya Walters. Maybe it's her alter ego, I'm not sure. But moving on, it looks like no unfinished business at this point. So we'll move to new business, council manager vacancy. Will I turn that over to you, Natalie?
Sure. I just wanted to let everybody know Josh resigned effective March 15th. So we are, there's a big state of flux right now with funding and with the direction of the council manager position. I'm going to ask Nate, Sylvia, and I to sit down and really look at what council may look like from that manager role in FY21. Right now, Veronica and Danielle Lurie on our staff and Michelle have really been doing all of the council manager functions. The council manager role kind of ebbs and flows with reports that are due and meetings that need to be attended. So there's varying levels of activity, but we are doing our best to make everything happen right now, and we'll be coming back to you probably in June with a plan for 21.
Thank you, Natalie. In the next election of officers, would that be you, Veronica, to speak on that?
Basically, we need to vote for, or we need to nominate. Typically, there would be an ad hoc committee, Nate, that you would have, but given the nature of everything, I didn't know if individuals wanted to kind of put their hat in the ring as to we need a chairman, a vice chair, secretary, which the council manager typically fills that role. So those are the items that we need.
Veronica, has Nate served What are the term limits?
That's a good question.
Because Nate, this is the first year, correct?
That's
It is.
correct.
In order for me, well, maybe, hold on. I don't know that I can get to that document while I'm on the call because I have to, yeah.
Nate, would you be interested in serving a second year as chair?
Yes, I can do that.
I think you got Bob's vote.
All right, thanks,
I
Bob.
nominate him to be chair.
Thank you, Tanya Walters.
Sylvia, are you?
I'm unmuting long enough to say Nat should be the chair. Nate should be our chair next year.
And Sylvia, are you willing to be the vice chair again?
Oh, sure. But I'm going to have to work on my technology, I do believe.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
So I believe you can do a 2-year term, but Veronica will verify that. And then we will maybe bring that back at the June board meeting as well. Does that sound okay with everyone?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yep. I had
Right.
it pulled up all week and then I just deleted it. I'm sorry. It's back in the hole of technology. So I will look at it. I will put that in the minutes, what the bylaws say in regards to term limits.
Right. Thanks, Veronica. It looks like next, just a reminder that our next board meeting will be June 11th, 2020. And I assume we'll wait to see if that is remote or in person, but it may be safe to assume remote at this point in time. Other than that, I would just say, are there any agency updates to share at this point in time?
I would like to update with this group. The United Way has started a COVID-19 fund, and we have received over $67,000 from the community. It is for rent, utility, mortgage assistance, food insecurity, other things that might come up that we haven't even thought of yet. And also the United Way is matching $50,000, up to $50,000. So we have over $100,000. And I wasn't sure, with some of the families that you're working with, our partner agencies are T4C and Salvation Army for rent and utility and mortgage assistance. We are releasing the criteria. The criteria typically would be a disconnect notice or eviction notice. And we're realizing that many people who are struggling right now, or families that are struggling right now, don't want to get to the disconnect or eviction notice. So we are releasing that criteria. So we have funds that can help people who are struggling. If there's any programs out there that, some changes have had to be made because of COVID-19, additional expenses, let me know. Right now, we cannot help individuals. We can help 501c3s, the United Way can. So for instance, we're giving the extra money to Salvation Army so that they can increase the rent, utility, and mortgage assistance. Just like even when we pay our dues, we actually go through Mandy, and then Mandy's our pass through to get the dues paid for. Family and Children First Council. So we can be flexible with that. I just wanted to throw that out there. If there's anything that you can think of, we're trying to be as nimble as we can. The committee meets whenever we need to virtually, so that people don't have to wait for funding. So just keep that in mind if you know of anything or anybody that needs some assistance.
That's excellent. Thank you, Robin.
I have
Anybody-
excuse me. I have a question for Robin about that.
Yes.
Rob, so if at Head Start, if we have families that are concerned, have those concerns, should we send them to Salvation Army? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Send them to Salvation Army. Also T4C. We have enhanced their program as well. They have a rent, utility assistance. So they're giving out more funding than they have in the past, and we're funding that entire program, as well as Salvation Army.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Sue, I think we also are gathering 211 cards. 211's like 911 for Health and Human Services. It's 24/7. Someone's there to answer the phone. I think we were going to try and get that to you, to your group, so that they could be passed out with the meals that you're passing out. I don't know if that
Okay,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, probably we need them very soon because we'll be taking things out through, I'm not sure about the meals if they'll go beyond this date, but at the end of May.
Okay.
Be the latest, you know, because we have layoff for the summer.
Gotcha. I'll make sure that they're I'm going to send a note right now. I'll make sure that we get those over to you.
Thank you so
But
much.
absolutely.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, sorry, Suri's talking to me, but okay. Thank you.
All right, any other additional updates from anybody that's pertinent to share with the group?
Nate, I would like to share something. First of all, I want to apologize for being a bad parent rep and not being able to attend very many of the meetings. I joined the group back when Robin was around and would come to meetings, but I've taken on a job, so I want to apologize for not being a very good parent rep. Second, I want to say that if Paige needs help funding some kids with some money, if they are adults or children with different needs, don't forget about the Ruth Carlson Foundation. We can help with that. We have some money for that, even with Head Start. It just needs to be somebody that has some different needs, some disabilities or stuff like that. So don't forget about that. You can either reach out to me or Nate on that, and we can bring that up to Ruth Carlson if anybody has any problems with that. That's even for Philly schools or for Buckeye. If you guys have anybody that needs anything, please remember Ruth Carlson for the children's or adults with special needs. Two, I want to say that Robin sounds like a great girl with a lot of caseloads, but my son Clayton has autism. He is in the adult world. He is doing good, but we're getting very, very bored. And we're seeing some behaviors. So I think that the longer this goes on, our kids and adults with some different needs are going to need a lot of support and a lot of help in our community. And with this board, it sounds like you guys have some great things going on. And then third, the last thing I want to say is a shout out to Mr. Brand. The yard looks beautiful. I don't know if you guys have seen the new Philly High School. They put all the seniors back on campus with pictures and signs all on the front. And I first saw that when I woke up this morning and brought tears to my eyes that that was a great thing for our community to do. And thank you, Mr. Brand, for doing that for the class of 2020. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Pretty cool. That was all done by donations too.
That was great. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. All right, anybody else at this point?
Nate, I just wanted to say that PFCS, our programs are open and accepting referrals. We are seeing referrals come in. Jen is right, as kind of families are, the longer this goes on, they're getting to that. It's a combination of things are going well, they're getting bored. Some of the kids are struggling because of just structure, routine, things they're used to is different and things. So we're seeing some of that, and we're working closely with the schools to just try to incorporate services however we can with families, and the schools have been great to help us reach out. So we're doing services, phone, text, telehealth, whatever way the families are willing to reach out to us. So we're also doing our intensive outpatient group for our clients who have struggles with substance use. So that is going on virtually as well. So our services are available, and Natalie's right. I think as this continues, we're gonna get flooded as more kids are getting out and people are seeing them.
Thank you, Brandy. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Yes, I have something I want to say about Head Start. We have applications online and we're currently taking applications. Also, if you wanted another way, you can call the main office, which is 740-922-0933. We have applied for a grant through Head Start for money that they made available due to the COVID-19 for a possible summer program focusing on children with special needs, IEPs, English language learners, behavior, mental health situations. So we went ahead and made all the plans for that and submitted the grant. The program would actually start in July if we indeed have it. We have no idea if things will be open at that time to do that or not, but we have gone ahead and applied for the money. And also, I would like to thank the schools for being so diligent with the IEP services and the IEP meetings, and the families very much appreciate it. We're in contact with our families weekly, sometimes daily. And I think all of that stuff that can stay stable is helpful for the whole situation.
Thank you, Sue. Anything else for the good of the order?
I have one more thing. Sue, how many cards would you need for your meals, your take-home
Okay.
meals? I wasn't sure.
Well, like we have, our enrollment is 373, so.
Okay.
That helps.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last call. Anybody else? All right, if not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you, Robin. All right, guys, we will see you June 11th.
Thank
Have a
you,
good day.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Here.